What does the Michael Cohen sentencing mean for President Trump?
Each week, The Score from Bearing Drift brings listeners news, reviews, and interviews.
To learn more, visit bearingdrift.com.
Hello, and welcome to The Square Circle. I'm your host, Heather Godwin. Joining us today are Gregory Clay of gdclay.com, political reporter James Rosen, and Michael Shindler of Young Voices. Welcome, everyone. Nice to have you all back.
Thank you.
Great to be
All
here.
right.
This week, President Trump's personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, was sentenced to 3 years in federal prison. Here's the story from NBC News.
President Trump's longtime personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, is going to jail. Cohen has just been sentenced in a New York City courtroom on multiple charges, including his role in paying hush money during the 2016 election to two women alleged to have had affairs with Trump. Payments prosecutors say were coordinated with and directed by Donald Trump himself.
Cohen himself spoke to the court today, saying that he lost his way, that his blind loyalty to Trump led him to choose darkness over light.
gdclay.com, we'll start with you. So, is this the beginning of the collapse for Trump's house of cards?
That's a very good question. And I figure two persons or two parties or two entities may have the final answer. It could be AMI, also known as American Media Incorporated, which owns National Enquirer, of course, who I interviewed with a couple years ago in New York, which was a wild experience. And also Nancy Pelosi in the House. You know, if someone brings up the I word, also known as impeachment. Michael Cohen now goes to prison for 3 years. What, $1 million worth of restitution the guy has to pay? He admitted that he performed the quote-unquote dirty deeds for one Donald Trump. So now he'll forever be known as the dirty deeds dude, Triple D. But you know, Donald Trump is like a cat with 9 lives. You know, Shindler, I'm sure, will agree. You know, Rosen, I'm sure, won't. And we shall see. You know, I mean, should the Democrats try to impeach him, you know, after the Mueller investigation, et cetera, et cetera? And AMI, American Media, you know, is going to be a major player in this because they know where David Pecker, who, the CEO of American Media, knows where all the bodies are buried. And surely he has tremendous information, or else the government will not have cut that deal with David Pecker to get more and more information in exchange for him not being prosecuted. So the next few months, especially starting in January, when the Democrats for real take over the House, it's going to be a very interesting, compelling situation. Time will tell.
James Rosen, what's your response?
Well, it seems like every day we say that the development in the Trump-Russia case, which keeps spreading with many tentacles, is incredibly significant. We said that about when we saw Mr. Cohen's plea deal, and now today people are talking about the guilty plea, the first guilty plea in this entire saga of Ms. Butina, who we'll talk about later. So, you know, I think this is kind of a drip, drip, drip over time of at least suspicious-looking activities and actions, and we'll see where we end up. But none of it is good for President Trump.
Michael Shindler, what's your opinion?
I think that given the Republicans control the Senate, impeachment isn't going to happen. But I do think that one of the things this is going to affect is getting folks into Trump's inner circle. Right now, Trump's already having a hard time finding a new chief of staff to replace John Kelly. And like a lot of insiders, a lot of people with the requisite experience are afraid of getting burned because they're afraid that they're going to get the Michael Cohen treatment.
Oh, this is a good point. Well, Michael Cohen is certainly an interesting character. I mean, he's definitely got direct ties to Russia based on his upbringing in New York, and his father is from the Ukraine. And one thing that President Trump said that confused me was he said that he does not dispute directing Cohen to make payments to women who accused him of having an affair in order to keep them quiet. But he said he did not direct Cohen to break the law while doing so. This is from CNN. Isn't that alone breaking the law?
Well, it sounds like what Donald Trump is doing is he's using the attorney-client, well, not really, privilege, but to free himself. In other words, it appears that what his defense is going to be is a quote-unquote advice of counsel. In other words, I am operating strictly under the advice of counsel. In other words, Michael Cohen, i.e. Triple D, the Dirty Deeds dude, told me to do this. Now, he's my attorney, okay? So he knows the law. I don't. So don't look at me. Look at your boy over here, Mr. Cohen. And that's what it sounds like. That sounds like what he's angling with that.
Okay. That explains his thinking that this is making him look less.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Cohen is a confessed liar. Donald Trump would assert that he's never told a lie, but nobody believes it. So you have two liars now telling who used to be close associates and close friends now telling diametrically opposite stories, and a lot's going to come down, I think, to the documentation that the prosecutors took from Cohen's office when they raided it. Supposedly, there's a lot of materials, and so this is not going to be based. This is not going to be just a he said. I won't say he said, she said. It's going to be a lot more than that. And if there is documentation about a lot of these allegations, then I think President Trump is in hot water. Right.
Plus, you have the audio that Chris Cuomo of CNN obtained. Remember, because
the telephone call.
Exactly. The audio of Donald Trump talking to Michael Cohen. And about how they're plotting, the next step and everything. They bring up Alan Weisselberg and everything, how to get the money and on. And of course, again, David Pecker, should be a huge entity in this situation, from American Media Incorporated, National Enquirer.
He bought the story in order to kill it.
Right. The Cameron Dougal story. Yeah. Right.
All right. Well, we'll see where this goes. All right. That's all for this week. I'm Heather Godwin, and thanks for watching The Square Circle. We'll see you next week.